First thing I wanted to start off with, though, is there was a story last week about some gigabrain dude swapping apes from your guys' pool and then claiming the ape tokens and then putting the apes back into the pool. Don't go too far and deep into that kind of tech and what actually happened behind the scenes, but what actually went down with that flash loan?
Yeah, so I've been like heads down like building for a while, so I haven't like investigated that transaction like fully. I know a lot of people have, but the kind of the idea is essentially with the vaults in NFTX, you can instantly swap out a floor item for a floor item in the vault um without any counterparty. So you could just like straight like insta swap, just like you would on Sushi or Uniswap, and pull out any of the items in the vault. So essentially what happened was someone cycled through everything that was in the ape vault, swapping it out, minting the ape, and then swapping out that one for another one that had unminted ape. And we saw something similar happen with Cool Cats, with Cool Pets. There was probably maybe like 4 or 5 people that were all trying to get in on that trade. And we had, I think, like 20 Cool Cats in the vault at the time. So that was about 20 pets that got minted in a very short period.
So
And there's some cool like repercussions in that.
yeah, we're starting the episode with like a dangerous kind of situation for some people that like put into the NFTX protocol, which I think for the more experienced people, like we understand that it's not necessarily dangerous. You just have to know what you're doing. You mentioned the Cool Cats piece there, and that there were people that were all trying to do this at once, and then you also said that one of those people was you.
Yeah, so yeah, there was a bunch. Like, I mean, you have an edge when you're building the product to know how these things work, and I'm not like at the level of writing contracts to automate this, and you know, to win gas wars against like MEV bots. I mean, when you look at what happened with Bored Apes, like that was like $1 million opportunity. So, you know, whoever did that was like automating the hell out of it and making sure that they could front run all the competition.
Mm.
Whereas I think with Cool Cats, it was very much like a fight over like a manual process.
Okay. So we'll get deep into the processes of NFTX and what that all means. We kind of hit somebody who has no idea what y'all are doing with like one of the craziest things that's happened on the platform here in just a second. But I guess like staying on this kind of conversation. So someone basically within one transaction was able to pull these apes out and then claim and then put them back in. You kind of have to school me on the tech there.
Yeah, so there's a swap fee on the NFTX vault. So let's say you have like a floor ape. If you have a floor ape NFT, you can pay like I think it's 6% of an ape to swap for another ape. So let's just say apes are 100 ETH. Like you'd pay 6 ETH to put your floor ape in, which presumably you've already minted the ape, and then you'd pull out one from the vault that has unminted ape. You'd mint that and then drop it back in and pull out another one and just keep swapping and paying 6 ETH every time. And obviously if the value of the mint of the ape is more than 6 ETH, then you're good and you're making profit. But we can talk about where that 6 ETH goes as well, because I think that's like the big driver for why people add liquidity and like enable this kind of activity, is that they get paid those fees.
Yeah, we skipped a couple steps there. Usually I like to kind of lay a foundation. We've got some comments here. Absolute Salt saying there was no penalty for that, question mark. So definitely we'll get into like the processes, but do you want to quickly touch on whether there was like a penalty for that person doing that?
No penalties, no. Like that's all profit. They would have paid the 6 ETH, but if they were making more on the 8 mints, then yeah, they'll just be profit. The loss is like, and it's not really a loss, but the loss comes from the liquidity providers of the ape token. So the people that had been providing liquidity for ape, and I think we probably need to go into NFTX like mechanics to understand this part a bit more, but they basically could have minted the ape themselves, but instead they were getting paid 6 ETH a pop, and like, but the difference being they didn't have to do anything, like they were just passive. um and yeah,
Yeah.
there's a couple other benefits as well.
Yeah, well, let's get deeper into what NFTX does here in just a second. But for anybody at home, TLDR, someone just pulled out a bunch of apes, claimed all the ape tokens from last week, made a shit ton of money, and yeah, walked away a lot richer.